So there is yet another version of Lionel Messi in eFootball. A lot of people are curious if it's worth upgrading from the previous versions. And as someone who has used each version, I'm going to let you know my thoughts on if it's worth the upgrade or not. I think there are 4 Messis that can be considered the best for a specific attribute. So the format of this video will be me going through the best build for the Blitz Curler Messi and then comparing that build to the previous versions of Messi that released and letting you know where the new version is an upgrade compared to the old versions. And then the attributes where I think the old versions are actually still better than the new Messi. I'll also be going through the best skills for this new Messi so you can get the best out of the card, and also quickly going through the best skills and builds for the old Messis in case you have those old versions of Messi and make the decision not to upgrade. So starting off with Blitz Curler Messi shooting, I would recommend you put 10 points into his shooting to get 95 finishing and then 98 curl. So when we compare this to the other 3 big time Messis, the 2015 version has 96 finishing and 97 curl. The 2009 Blue Boot Messi has 97 finishing but only 90 curl. And then the World Cup Messi has 90 finishing and also 96 curl. Now obviously these are with my builds, but you can see I've got 500 games on this Messi, almost 500 on the Blue Boot, and nearly 1,000 on the 2015. So I'm very comfortable with these builds, and I do think these are the best builds for those Messis. And here are the progression points, just for reference, in case anyone wants to build these cards too. And just for reference for the rest of the video, this deep line forward Messi is pretty much the same as the World Cup version, except it has 5 more finishing but less dribbling stats. And then the Blue Boot Messi and the eFootball 25 Ambassador Messi are pretty much the same card except for the finishing stats. So for dribbling and passing and stuff, them 2 cards are pretty much identical, although there is a big penalty to finishing on this new Messi. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's compare them. So if I had to rank all of the Messi cards finishing first without taking into account Blitz Curler, I would rank them at the bottom with the Ambassador Messi. Then I would put the Blitz Curler Messi, then the 2015 very high weak foot version, then the 2009 Blue Boot Messi, and then finally the World Cup Messi. And then actually the Copa America Messi is the best without Blitz Curler into the equation, just because he's basically the same card as the World Cup one, but he has higher finishing. However, when we add Blitz Curler into the equation, I would then just move that list so Blitz Curler Messi becomes number 1. And the reason for that is, as you're seeing in the clips, the Blitz Curler Messi can do something no other version of Messi can do, and it's because when Blitz Curler is activated, it essentially just always goes over the defender that's trying to block it. So if your opponent is holding matchup, do not worry, Blitz Curler, as you're seeing, will just go over the defender, and it results in your opponent finding it very difficult for you, or rather very difficult for them to block your shots. So the 2015 version of Messi has the best finishing stats alongside the curl and the kick and power too, but why isn't he the best finisher? I think it's actually because of his very high weak foot. Now bear with me for a sec. Because he has the very high weak foot, I don't recommend putting outside curler on him because it allows you to score crazy knock-on finesse shots. But when particularly you're inside the box, outside curler is very effective, which this Lionel Messi has. And because the World Cup Messi has very high curl and doesn't have very high weak foot, I put outside curler on him, and I consistently score outside curler shots with the World Cup Messi, which will be the same for the Copa America Messi. So coupled with the outside curler and the Blitz Curler, I think this Messi is the best finisher inside the box. But at range, you can argue it's going to be this Messi because he can do it on both feet. But the Blitz Curler Messi is also going to be able to score from far out too. But don't sleep on the 2009 version of Messi. This guy's finesse shots are insane, and because he's so quick, he can actually get free of the defenders very easily. So with the Blitz Curler Messi, you're not worried about the opponent blocking your shots. You're not really as worried with this Messi either because he's able to get that extra yard of space for a clear shot on goal. And I also recommend putting flip-flap on this Messi so you can get the ball roll double touch to get that extra bit of space. Now, some people think Blitz Curler has been nerfed or that it's just a post magnet, and while I'm not saying that doesn't happen, I do think it's greatly exaggerated. I really think it's just down to the fact that people put too much power into the Blitz Curler shots. If you look at the goals I've scored with this new Blitz Curler Messi, you can see I'm putting about 55 to 60% power into my shots. I'd aim for 55%, sometimes it goes over and you get away with it, but that's about how much power you should put into your shots. But that last tip was literally just outside the box, so you add a little bit of an extra percent for the further out you go. Now, I've always struggled with knock-on finesse with Blitz Curlers. I've got Salah for nearly a year now probably, and I've never scored a knock-on finesse with them. And I think it's because while you do get further away from the goal, you do have to put more power into the shots. When you do the knock-on, essentially the boost of accuracy and power that the knock-on gives you makes it so you're putting or going back to the assumption that you should put about 55% power on your shots. And it is my viewers that have helped me with this. So one here sent me some clips. He scored with Messi, so 50% power. You can see after doing the knock-on, it goes top corner. And again, similar angle, 50%. It goes in the back of the net after the knock-on. Although he did send me another clip where he's further away and he does put more power on. So it's not a one-size-fits-all in terms of putting 50% of power on after a knock-on. But it does seem that you have to be really far away from the goal to require more power. But it does take more testing. So I'm going to try test it further on stream over the coming days. So next we're going to move on to the dribbling. I put 10 points of dribbling into this Messi. But to be honest, I think all of these Messis are pretty identical in terms of dribbling, with all the versions of Messi falling into one of three camps. So the Blitz Curler Messi and the old 2015 Messi would fall in the middle, and that's just kind of normal speed dribbling. Then I would have the 2009 Messi and the Ambassador Messi in their own group because they particularly excel at using their pace. And then the World Cup Messi and the Copa America Messi would be very good in the box, where you don't need to sprint or use any sprint at all. You're literally just doing left stick and finesse dribbling. Although I do think the finesse dribbling on this new Messi is the best I've used in the game. I'm not 100% sure why, but I would assume it's because his ball control is really high. I'm sure it's been tested, but I don't know exactly which stats influence finesse dribbling. But all of these cards, Neymar and Suarez, in all of them, their finesse dribbling is really strong. Suarez isn't as good in terms of the speed of his finesse dribbling, but just for the fact that he can do the finesse dribbling on the first touch into a shot very easily. But Neymar and Messi, I've been using finesse dribbling with them, and I don't really like the finesse dribbling in this game, but I've been using it with these guys to great effect. So I struggle to kind of rank all of these Messis in terms of who's the best dribbler, just because they're all very good at a baseline and they all have different strengths. But because the Blitz Curler Messi has very high ball control, and I think that's helping his finesse dribbling, I think he would take the cake. But again, it's not a major difference between all the Messis. They kind of dribble it, or they kind of dribble the same all around. Now for the lower body strength, I put 8 points into it, so you get the 85 on the speed and then the +3. Some people will say you need more speed. You really don't, because he has 103 dribbling, which means he will be fast on the ball with the ball at his feet, because dribbling, it determines how quickly you dribble, or rather how quickly you run while dribbling. So without using sharp touches to knock the ball ahead of you, you're not going to notice a major difference in the dribbling speed personally. But the pace of this Messi will really shine through when you do use sharp touches, which are very important, so it is something to keep in mind. Now, when it comes to the passing and playmaking abilities of this Messi, I would put 4 points into his passing, and that results in 88 low pass and 78 lofted. So when we compare that to the old 2015 version, you can see it is kind of similar, but there is a boost on this Messi because he has 92 low pass. The new Messi does have 78 lofted pass, but I do find that this 2015 old Messi is better at lofted passes, and it's literally just because he has weighted pass on the card by default. So if you want to know who's the best playmaker, I do think the very high weak foot of the 2015 Messi is very good alongside the weighted pass. So on that aspect, I would rank the old one better. But you could put weighted pass on the new Messi, and then they'd be pretty much equal. I don't think you're going to notice a difference between 75 lofted pass and 78. And this new Messi does have outside curler, so there are specific instances where outside curler is better than having very high weak foot on the passing. I think most of the time you'd rather have the very high weak foot, but if you have it in your locker that you know, okay, this Messi has outside curler, and you understand the angles where the outside curler pass is going to activate, particularly if you use pass assist 3, it activates more often. The Blitz one, once you put weighted pass on him, should be the better playmaker. Now that leaves us with 10 progression points left, and you've got 2 areas you can put them in. So I've went all in on dexterity and left the aerial strength with 0 points invested, and that's for 2 reasons. One, when you put 7 dexterity in, you can see we do get 90 attacking awareness and 95 balance and 99 acceleration, although I think we're getting +1 from Xabi Alonso as well, so it should be 98 on most people. But it's the awareness and the balance that we're looking at anyway. 90 is a tier, and then I think 95 is a tier 2, just from playing them, you know, thousands of hours of this game. I find when the stat gets to 95, it's also why we have the finishing at that level. It kind of goes to a new level. So that's why you put the 7 dexterity in. And the reason you don't need, in my opinion, to increase the aerial strength, I've found from my time playing this game since eFootball 25 came out, that the physical contact kind of new system mainly kicks in once your player has 70 physical contact. So if we look at a player that I have a kind of weird build on, it is Diego Maradona. And if we actually, it might not look weird there, but if we look at it in particular, you can see we only have 2 points into dribbling. And it's because I wanted to put 7 into the physical contact. And once you put 7 into the physical contact, you can see we do get the 7 into aerial strength. And once you do that, you get 70 physical contact. And then before eFootball 25 came out, this was my favorite player. I had a different build with no points in physical. Then when eFootball 25 came out, I was struggling to use him well. So then I tried out putting him on 70 physical contact, and then he became one of the best players in the game again. So once you have 70 physical contact on your players, you're pretty much good. Obviously, you can put more if you want, but I really don't think the benefits there are very big. I think it's very marginal at that point. So I will talk about what skills I think should go on the Blitz Curler Messi, but first I want to talk about what positions this Messi is best in and what positions the other Messis are best in, just so you know, depending on what players you currently have in your team, if I think this new Messi fits in nicely and is worth the upgrade. So if you want to know what positions I think are best for this Messi, he's actually very well rounded. So he can play centre forward, second striker, right wing, and AMF. I wouldn't play him second striker on the left, although you did see in the clips his outside curlers were very strong. We look at the 2015 Messi, it's the same story. He can play all along the front line, although I would be comfortable playing him left wing. You can see I do have a position trainer open, or position proficiency open to play him left wing, and one day I will like to get that, just because I think the knock-on finesse on the left will be very strong with him. For this Messi, the deep line forward one, and then also the Copa America is a deep line forward one, I think this guy can only really be played centre forward, particularly if you're going to play him second striker. I wouldn't play him as a wide second striker, it should be just a central one. I just feel like he doesn't have, there's just something he's missing where I feel like he's just best in the middle and he excels really in there. I wouldn't play him AMF either, just because I think deep line forward is such a strong player role that he should be in centre forward where it's active, and at its best it's also active as second striker, but I do think it is best as centre forward. And then for this World Cup, or the 2009 Messi, I think he's best as centre forward and right wing, or SS, kind of narrow. He's alright at AMF, I don't think he's great. He'd be best as a wide AMF that's kind of replicating a winger. And he's also good right mid. I don't know if you have to train him for that, do you? Yeah, you have to train this one to play right mid. He's quite good there too, just because of how fast he is. So in terms of tactical flexibility, this Messi becomes best if you only have the World Cup or the Copa America Messi, and you want the Messi to be able to play right wing or AMF. Some people like these guys in the AMF, the deep line forwards one, but I think if you want the right wing, you definitely need the Blitz Curler Messi or the 2009 version. And then this 2015 winger Messi is a prolific winger, whereas the blue boot is a Roman flank. To be honest, both are very effective, although I will say, and this is if you're going to be playing against this new Messi, you really need a defensive fullback against this guy, or at least a fullback with defensive instruction, because he's a prolific winger. He wants to get in behind. Anytime you lose the ball and you don't have defensive fullbacks or defensive on your fullback on Messi's side, Messi's already going to be in behind your fullback waiting for a true pass. So you definitely need to be keeping that in mind when you're playing against this Messi or when you're using them yourself. Anytime you win the ball, look for him. And same with Neymar and the other wing as a prolific winger. Just look for them and see if you can play that true ball in straight away to get in behind the defense. And Gianni sent me 2 clips highlighting why this Messi's so good on the wing. You see plenty of space there, cut inside with a body feint and release the blitz, and it seems to help the shots go in very easily. You see, it's not just a once-off. He sent another clip here as well. So it seems to be a good combination between the two, where if you hit the body feint, it kind of makes the keeper not react as well, and you can easily get it into the back of the net. And a few days ago, me and Gianni played 3 games testing out these new cards. So if you want to see kind of unedited gameplay of our live impressions, check out this video. It'll be in the description and on your screen right now. Now, for the skills you'd put on Blitz Curler Messi, there's 2 paths you can go down, but 2 of the skills are similar in both paths. First, I'd go for Fighting Spirit, and then also Acrobatic Finishing after. Now, obviously, you can see there's no skills there, so I played the games without any skills on him. And there is an argument that he doesn't need Acrobatic Finishing just because he's got such high finishing and such high balance. But I just think, you know, play it safe and just put it on, just so you have that kind of certainty in the back of your mind that, you know, you do have the Acrobatic Finishing on, you've done everything you can. After that, I would go for Soul Control, or the knock-on finesse, or the knock-on blitz curler, I guess. When I first played with this card, I didn't think I'd put that on just because I've never scored a knock-on blitz curler myself, but as I got shown, you've seen throughout the video, it is possible and it is consistent. You just have to know what type of power to put on your shots. So after that, then you can choose between, I'd say, flip-flap and gamesmanship, and that is a choice, I would say, because the last skill you need to choose between, I think, weighted pass and pinpoint crossing. To be honest, I think for most of the time you should be going for weighted pass instead. Pinpoint crossing really only if you're going to play him right wing, because, you know, you're going to cut inside and shoot with the blitz. It will be handy to go to the byline with pinpoint crossing, but even in those scenarios, I think you can come inside with the weighted pass. So it really depends on if you have someone who's good at headers in the middle. If you have someone like Luis Suarez, check out the review on him, because his bullet header is not good at all. You don't really need the pinpoint crossing. He's not going to score the headers anyway, but if you have someone like Collar or Drogba, the pinpoint crossing might be more advantageous than the weighted pass. So that one's up to you. For the gamesmanship, the reason I'm recommending that is just because it helps you win fouls, but just keep in mind it doesn't really get called in the box for a penalty. I don't really feel gamesmanship helps you win penalties more often than without it, but it does really help for free kicks outside the box. And just to summarize, this is what the build looks like with the progression points in full again. I think, honestly, he's a really good card, and in particular, Neymar is really good. He's really impressed me, and so is Suarez. So check out the Suarez review. Even though his bullet header wasn't great, the card really is good overall. So I think it's a safe bet to go for this pack. But let me know if you're going for it in the comments, or if you already went for it. and your thoughts on the cards. I'll try have the Neymar review up on Saturday. Okay, bye.